Temporary burn ban is now in place across Bullitt County. The move comes as crews have been battling a wildfire along Bowie Driggers Road for 10 days. County commissioners approved the ban during a special meeting this afternoon. The ban applies throughout unincorporated Bullitt County and restricts open burning of yard debris, including leaves, limbs, grass, and other vegetation. The ordinance does include some exceptions, including cooking fires and approved grills or fire pits. Violators could face a citation and a hearing with a maximum penalty of $1,000, 60 days in jail, or both. 6 Savannah Police Department employees are on administrative leave tonight, accused of misusing the city's flock camera system. SPD says the potential misuse was discovered during an internal audit of the system. Investigators say the 6 employees, 4 officers and 2 civilians, allegedly conducted searches that were not related to law enforcement, including searches involving personal acquaintances and family members. The department also says one officer allegedly provided someone from an outside law enforcement agency access to SPD's flock system. These 6 employees could face termination as well as possible criminal prosecution. SPD currently operates 103 flock cameras throughout the city. The department says every search is electronically logged, including who conducted it, when it happened, and the reason for it. SPD says it has now implemented weekly audits through its Office of Professional Standards to look for potential irregularities. The department says it will not release any additional details about the alleged misuse while the GBI investigation is active. Savannah Mayor Van Johnson telling WSAV public trust is non-negotiable. These tools exist to keep our community safe, not for personal or unauthorized use. When concerns were identified, our department acted swiftly, transparently, and decisively. He continued to say accountability is not optional. It is essential to maintaining the confidence our residents place in our department every day. Savannah Police leadership, City Manager Jay Melder, and Mayor Van Johnson are expected to address questions about the investigation on Monday. WSAV will be there and will bring you the latest information as we learn it. A military training jet skidded off the runway this afternoon at Savannah Hilton Head International Airport. We now have learned that a blown tire during landing caused it. Take a look at this video from the airport. It's being towed away in this. Officials say the Douglas A-4 Skyhawk is a contractor-owned aircraft that was providing military training support. At around 2:30 this afternoon, the jet experienced a blown tire while landing. The pilot was not hurt. The airport remains open and operational. The 165th Airlift Wing Fire Department provided the initial response, and the aircraft was later towed to a privately owned hangar. Officials are directing any further questions about this to the FAA. New tonight, a $20 billion investment with the potential to transform Effingham County. We are digging deeper into why local leaders say the OpenAI data center could lower taxes, create jobs, and bring big benefits for families. WSAV's Isabella Baez reports.
Literally could have the probably the lowest tax rate, property tax rate in the state, or at least one of the lowest ones.
Effingham County Manager Tim Callanan says this OpenAI data center will generate revenue and sales tax that could double East Plus collections and provide the money to help move capital projects forward, such as roads, parks, and infrastructure improvements.
The sales tax on this will generate enough money to on its own, almost to wipe out homestead property taxes for the county portion of your bill. But when you add it to the additional sales tax we're already collecting, it lowers the tax rate for everybody else, for the non-homestead, for the renters.
This project is also said to create almost 1,000 jobs, from construction and concrete for the first 4 years to more permanent jobs like electrical engineers and HVAC. Callanan says the company will try to hire 100% local with a pay around $80,000.
You know, we're already training folks to do in our technical colleges or at our career academies. So, you know, it's kind of great that you could have that pathway directly in there.
The public has been flooding social media with concerns relating to the data center, and Callanan says he understands where the negative connotation comes from, but wants people to know the center doesn't have the same structure.
I think what you're going to find is that some of these horror stories that you hear are true, right? Some of the things that were approved in some of the states north of here were an embarrassment. They were putting them at locations that were extremely close to households, right? This project does the opposite, right?
According to Callanan, the promises that come from the data center aren't just words, but signed documentation.
The county does have some leverage, particularly when it comes to providing water and sewer service. to make sure we get it in writing.
Isabella Baez, WSAV News 3, on your side.
After some confusion over when Chatham County school zone speed cameras would be turned back on, police say the permitting issue that delayed the restart has now been resolved. The cameras will go active on Monday, starting with a 2-week warning period. Chatham County Police say drivers will begin receiving citations August 17th during designated school zone times. That includes arrival, dismissal, and the hours in between. The citations will not add points to a driver's license. However, police say failure to pay could prevent the vehicle owner from renewing their tag. There is one exception. Cameras in the Southwest Elementary, Southwest Middle School zone will not be operational. That's because of a new state law prohibiting the cameras on 4-lane highways without a crosswalk in the school zone. You can find a full list of zones, bell times, camera hours, active dates at wsav.com/schoolzones. Meanwhile, Bullitt County Sheriff Noel Brown is urging drivers to plan ahead as students return to the classroom. Brown says families should expect longer commutes during the first week of school, and he is asking drivers to be patient around school buses and traffic backups in school zones. The Sheriff's Office also plans to increase its presence on county roads during the first few weeks of the school year. Brown says the county has also increased the number of school resource officers, with deputies now assigned at nearly every school.
We have between 20 and 25 school resource officers are in place at pretty well all our schools now, with the exception of Bible Baptist. But we have one nearby at Trinity, which is within a couple of 100 yards of that school.
The Sheriff's Office is also reviewing traffic flow around school zones, looking for ways to improve safety and ease congestion in the future.